medicine, and the theme is Hope is a Verb, part 3. And I'm going to be really focusing on the element of risk this week and how we have to take risk, like part of hoping, like, and beyond, like last week as I was speaking, beyond hope is faith. There is this stepping stone or cliff leap or jumping out a plane and hoping the parachute opens, like rite of passage, walking through the fire that we have to do. It seems to be part of the cosmic design so that we can keep on reinforcing our relationship with God, source, the one, the universe, whatever the unseen aspect is that constantly reminds us not only of our divinity, but also of the biggerness than us, the bigger self, the higher self, the soul, but also the beyond that. Because if otherwise, how do we get to experience the miracles in life? How do we get to experience our own power and understand if we live like this all the time? We don't. And that's been part of the control structure. That's been part of the matrix, is to keep everything very small and sequential and known, and death and taxes, and neither of which are real. Oscar Wilde got it wrong. So it's that way of living, and is what never allows us to taste. As somebody I know says, taste the mango. We can read about mango, but we don't get to taste it when we live like that. And it's leaping out the plane and taking the risks that allow us to realize that we are co-creating this miraculous experience. And especially, like, it's always become a culture shock when I see the news, but today I had a whole page of like different news headlines pop up because I went into a browser I don't normally use on my laptop, and I was just like, oh my God. I was like death, nuclear war, plague, like literally it was like choose your chocolate, they're all going to kill you. And it was just kind of outrageous. Even like the celebrity gossipy ones were like the end is nigh in so many different words. And when that level of like fear and is around us, like the option is just really, I think, to leap forward. But what is interesting compared to 2020, when it was sort of ramping up this much, is that I'm not feeling it in the collective like I was before. I think people are really worn down by the narratives, and they're not eating the Weetabix. I'm mixing so many analogies in here, like they were then when I went in 2020, when I used to go to the supermarket and walk the wrong way around the lines and try and talk to people and crack jokes. Like that was it was dangerous in the Elephant and Castle to be behaving like that, with the hate responses I got. But now I kind of go into mainstream land, and it doesn't feel like people are really chewing on the biscuits. Oh, food analogy. I'm eating enough today. So it is the perfect time to take risk and prove that that what we're being told is crap. And I've got some stories around that. And hello, Dana, welcome. Lovely to see you. That I've just been embracing. I've been on a real adventure since I saw you last week in a hotel room. I was meant to then get in a car and drive back 400 miles, whatever it was. But I was so near Glastonbury, and it is such a home for me, because I've had these massive like life pivotal moments happen at Glastonbury, especially at this time of year. I realized Samhain. This was before I knew I had a spiritual elbow, let alone a chakra. I didn't know what Samhain was. I didn't know what Glastonbury was, but that was where I had my second major awakening on Samhain, in 2014, which is where I met Rachel Elnor. And anyway, so I went back to Glastonbury, drove in the opposite direction, and just was like, screw the diary, screw the plans. I'm going to do all my meetings in car parks on the road. I'm just going to follow what I need to be and where I need to be. And I was in Chalicewell Gardens, and I was, getting all the well water. And I have this one shop. I'm not a hugely materialistic person, but there's one shop in Glastonbury where the last 2 years I've bought a piece of jewelry, because it's not really jewelry, it's sacred geometry and crystals, and they're all one-off pieces. And the last time I was there was this one piece that was really speaking to me, but it was quite expensive, and I left it. And I went back into the shop, and I haven't been there for 15 months. And the man looked up at me and then looked down, and I was looking at all the pieces and thinking, I'm going to buy one for a present for myself, and trying to decide what was calling me. And then he said, Helen, you're back. And he remembered my name, and then he remembered where I'd lived. And then I said, eventually, like, we weren't chatting, he just sort of dropped things in. I said, oh, could I open this cabinet? And I said, oh my God. And this piece was still there, like 16 months later. And so it's now mine. I couldn't believe no one had bought it. So it's here. And I got a discount for waiting. But this is the risks, like, if I was to read the news and absorb all that fear, like, I shouldn't be spending money on petrol driving in the opposite direction. I shouldn't be buying sacred geometry jewelry, no matter how charged to me, and I bought some slippers and some gloves and another crystal, and, because that felt right. And I don't shop willy-nilly. I buy things that speak to me, and lots of things did. And so did the extended trip. And so there's many other risks I'm taking, but when we're following our heart, they're not risks. They're the breadcrumbs that take us to our bliss. And it's all the journey anyway. And, I just really wanted to share this, because this week is, for me, the theme is really about this is such an exciting time. Like, there is so much changing, and yet, like, as we up level, there's other levels of obstacles that get bigger, but so do the rewards. And that is my opening share for this evening. So welcome everybody. I have the new crystal to pass around. We have some serpentine, which is all about holding all the world's and the realm's knowledge and tapping into the undiscovered and the cosmic and then the beyond. So I'd love you to share where you are, how your week's